Hello guys, in this video we are going to talk about the prediction of red wine quality. The dataset is such that it contains 11 input features columns, which are fixed acidity, volatile acidity, citric acid, residual sugar, chlorides, free sulfur dioxide, total sulfur dioxide density, pH values, sulfates and alcohol. And then there's one output quantity vector which is quality, which has values ranging from 0 to 10, which signifies the quality of that particular wine. So our job is to predict with the given feature input values whether the quality of the wine is good or bad. So this is a binary classification problem. So let's start. The most important step is to import libraries. So we'll import Panda libraries and then matplotlib for plotting purpose, and Persian matplotlib inline to plot all the graphs in the Jupyter notebook itself, and Seaborn library in order this is a library which is a successor of matplotlib in order to plot graphs in a much more efficient, attractive fashion. And then we'll import random forest classifier, SVC, SGD classifier. These are the classifiers which we will look into it later on in this video. And then we'll import confusion matrix classification report from sklearn.metrics, which helps us to give us the accuracy of the models classifiers. And then standard scalar and label encoder in order to pre-process the data. And then from model selection we will import train test split in order to split the test and the training data, and grid search CV in order to fine tune and find the better parameters which suits the model, rather the classifier. So the next step is to load the data. So from this particular directory I will import the wine quality red CSV file. And then when we apply the head method on our data set, we get the first 5 rows of the data set, and with the first 11 columns signify the feature inputs, and the last column signifies score from 0 to 10. So it is mentioned in the dataset source dataset that values greater than 6.5 are good, signifies a good quality wine, and below 6.5 signifies bad quality wine. So we'll keep it into consideration as we move ahead. We print the shape. So the dataset contains approximately 1599 rows and 12 columns, as we can see over here. And then we'll print the info method. So it gives us the total information of the dataset, and it is always good to print the info method, because if there are some null cells, so it's better to delete it in order to get a better efficient way of processing. The next important step is data visualization. So here we will plot the bar graph, and then we will have quality on the x-axis and fixed acidity on the y-axis, and we'll check what trend we see over here. So here we see that the fixed acidity does not give any specification to classify the quality. So we move ahead. We will plot a graph between quality and volatile acidity now. So in this graph we see that it's quite a downing trend in the volatile acidity as we go higher the quality. And then we plot a graph between quality and citric acid. So over here the composition of citric acid goes higher as we go higher in the quality of the wine. For residual sugar versus quality graph, we see that the residual sugar does not give any specification to classify the quality. Now we'll plot a graph between chlorides and quality. So we can see over here that the composition of chloride also goes down as we go higher in the quality of the wine. And then again we'll plot a graph between free sulfur dioxide and quality. So here we can see that the free sulfur dioxide does not give any specification to classify the quality. So basically we have to keep a check on the trends. If we see a better trend like downing trend or an upgoing trend, we have to keep that in mind and then work on it later when we pre-process the data. Then over here, when we plot a graph between total sulfur dioxide and quality, we see that the total sulfur dioxide does not give any specification to classify the quality. And then similarly over here, when we plot a graph between sulfate and quality, we see that the sulfate level goes higher with the quality of the wine. When we plot a graph between alcohol and the quality, we see that the alcohol level also goes higher as the quality of the wine increases. The next important step is pre-processing of data. So we have to predict whether the quality of the wine is good or bad. So it is a binary classification problem, as we discussed earlier. So this is a very important step, as there are two classes which are good and bad. This is a Bin's variable which specifies that values of quality ranging between 0 to 6.5 signifies bad quality of wine, and from 6.5 to 10 signifies good quality of wine. So we will use the pd.cut method and pass the Bin's variable and the label classes, which will alter the quality column in our data set. So all the values which were initially less than 6.5 are now turned into bad, and the values greater than 6.5 are turned into good. Now we will use the label encoder method in order to convert the bad and the good variables into numerical values, because the evaluation of pandas works only on numerical values and not on text values. So using the fit transform method, all the bad values will be turned into 0 and the good values will be turned into 1. So it will help us to process later. And so hence when we print the head method, we see that all the bad values, text values, are turned into 0. Now using the value underscore counts method, we see that the number of bad quality wines are 1382 and the number of good quality wines are 217. Using the count plot method on the wine quality, we see the same thing but in a graphical format. Now we have to separate the dataset as response variable and feature variables in order to apply a train test split method. So over here we use the train test split method to split the training and the testing data. So we approximately give 20% of it to the testing side and 80% of the training side. So there are approximately 1279 rows in the training data now when you put in the xtrain variable. The next important step is feature standardization. So this is a very important step because it helps us to give us the data with zero mean and unit variance. So using standard scalar method, we apply fit transform on the training data and on the testing data as well. So hence then we get a vector in this particular format. The next and the most important step is applying machine learning algorithms on the training and the testing data that we got previously. So the first important classifier that we are going to use in order to predict the data is random forest classifier. Now random forest classifier is an ensemble learning method for classification, regression and other tasks that operate by constructing a multitude of decision trees at training time and outputting the class, that is the mode of the classes or mean average prediction of individual trees. So we will just create an object of the random forest classifier by passing the number of estimators as 200. Then we will fit the model by passing the training data and the true labels of that particular data, and then with that we will predict the model by passing the test data on which we have to make the predictions. And then once we print the classification report, we get all the particular important values that we need in order to check the accuracy. So under precision, we see that the accuracy is 87%, and confusion matrix helps us to describe the number of data which were correctly classified. So you can see that along the diagonals that 264 were correctly classified and 19 were also correctly classified, and the rest weren't. The next important classifier that we are going to see is stochastic gradient descent. Now gradient descent is a simple optimization procedure that we can use with many machine learning algorithms. Now stochastic gradient descent refers to calculating the derivative from each training data instance and calculating the update immediately. So similarly, we'll create the SGD classifier. We'll fit the model on the training data and the true labels with the white-in values, and we'll predict the model with the X-test data. We will get the classification report, and we see that the accuracy over here is 86%. And similarly, we will print the confusion matrix. The next important classifier that we are going to see is the SVC classifier. And the objective of the SVC classifier is to fit the data that we provide, returning the best fit hyperplane that divides or categorizes the data. So similarly, we will create the SVC object. We'll fit the model with the training data and the y-train true values. We'll get the predictions on the X-test data, and then we see that the accuracy of it remains almost similar, which is 86%. Now we will apply grid search CV, which kind of finds the best parameters for the SVC model that we looked upon earlier. So these are the particular parameters and their particular initial values that we are passing in order to find the best parameters. So out of these multiple parameters, the grid search CV will find the best parameters, best values, which will suit the model in order to give us higher accuracy. So we will once we find these best values, we will pass it into grid SVC variable, and then grid SVC variable will fit the model on the similar X-train and the Y-train values. And once, if you want to check that which were the best parameters suited for training the particular model, we can print best underscore params, and we will get those values, and then we will build the model again by passing those particular values in order to get a higher accuracy. So we pass those best parameters into the SVC model, fit the model, and then use the predict method on the X-test data and print the classification report. We see that the accuracy of that SVC model boosts up to 90%. So this is a way in which we can use various models in order to get the accuracy, different accuracies using different models, and then we can depending upon our use, we can choose the best model to get the predictions of the wine quality. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching.